Today we are going to see 16th group of periodic table. The 16th group is also called as chalcogens. Another name for 16th group is chalcogens. What is the meaning for this word chalcogens? You know, what is the meaning here? Ore forming. The meaning for this word is ore forming. Why we are calling as ore forming group? Because most of the ores are exist in sulfide form and in oxide form only. So that's why we are calling this group as chalcogen family or chalcogens. Okay. So who are all present in this 16th group in chalcogen family? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. All these elements are present in group 16. Okay, maximum ores are exist in the form of oxides and sulfides. That's why we are telling this 16th group as chalcogens. Now, in this lesson, we are going to talk about oxygen and sulfur. How we can prepare the oxygen, sulfur, and what are the physical property, chemical property, what are the uses, like that we are going to see in this lesson. Okay, so before entering there, just we will see about this numbers. Okay, oxygen we know in atmosphere 23% by volume, it is oxygen. In water 83% is oxygen. Okay, then the rocks, maximum rocks are having combined oxygen in it. World rocks are combined form of oxygen is there. Then sulfur, it exists in the form of sulfates like gypsum and epsom. The best example are gypsum and epsom. Gypsum and epsom. The next here, the sulfur exists in the form of sulfides also. We know the sulfides. What are the sulfides? Zinc sulfide, okay, galena, zinc blende, like that we have learned. Remember, ZnS, PbS, like that in the sulfide form also sulfur exists. The selenium, tellurium, polonium, these are exist with the sulfide ores. Along with the sulfide ores, they are existing with a very few amount, okay, very little amount they are existing along with the sulfide ores. Okay. Here the physical state when we discuss, oxygen are only exist in gaseous state. The remaining sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, all these exist in the form of solid. Okay. Then in earth crust also by volume 46%, nearly 46% occupied by oxygen. Then 0.034% occupied by sulfur. Okay, so maximum abundant elements are here, only oxygen and sulfur. Selenium, tellurium, polonium exist. Tracer amount with the sulfide ores. So in this lesson, we are going to talk about oxygen and sulfur. So first, we will take oxygen. Here oxygen. First, preparation. All these topics are same. Preparation, physical property, chemical property, uses. Same for all the elements. Okay, before and also we have discussed about nitrogen and phosphorus. Now we are talking about oxygen. Okay, so oxygen, first one, preparation. Preparation of oxygen. Here we can take the air and we can do the fractional distillation because 23% is composed by oxygen only. So we can take the air and we can do the fractional distillation so that easily we can get the liquid oxygen there. Okay, fractional distillation we have learned. Okay, how we can do the fractional distillation and how we can separate separate oxygen alone, like that we have learned in our 11th standard. Okay, so by using fractional distillation method, we can prepare oxygen. Fractional distillation method. This is for the industrial preparation. They are using this method. How we can prepare this oxygen in the lab? Okay, so here we have to take hydrogen peroxide H2O2. The decomposition of hydrogen peroxide in the presence of manganese dioxide catalyst, it leads to the formation of water and oxygen. The equation also is balanced. Okay, so here we are taking hydrogen peroxide. The catalyst may be here potassium permanganate or any oxidizing agent we can take here. So when we take the hydrogen peroxide is converted into water and oxygen. Here like that we can prepare. Some other decomposition methods also is there. We can give thermal decomposition. So in 2 marks they can ask thermal decomposition. How will you prepare oxygen? By thermal decomposition method. Okay, so just copy down all the methods how we can prepare. Okay, the first one here, mercurous oxide. When we heat, it will be decomposed as 2Hg plus O2. And barium oxide, when we heat, it will be decomposed as barium oxide and O2. Same way, potassium chloride, KClO3, potassium chloride. When we heat this one, in the presence of manganese dioxide, it will be converted into KCl plus O2. Same way, potassium nitrate, KNO3, potassium nitrate. When we heat, it will be decomposed into KNO2 plus O2. Okay, like that we can prepare the oxygen. Okay, so if they ask in 3-mark question, how will you prepare oxygen? You have to write from the atmospheric air. We can do fractional distillation. We can prepare the oxygen. In the lab, we can use hydrogen peroxide to prepare, and also we can use the thermal decomposition method to prepare oxygen. Okay, like that you have to write. Okay, so just copy down. Next, we are going to see properties of this oxygen. Some properties already you know. Now tell me whether you know the physical state. What is the physical state of the oxygen? It is gaseous state. So oxygen is gas. Then the atomic state, whether it is monoatomic, diatomic or polyatomic. Yes, it is diatomic. Oxygen exists as O2, diatomic. In 11th standard, when we learned about the molecular orbital diagram, there we have drawn, there we have found the bond order and paramagnetic order, diamagnetic order, like that we have found. Do you remember? There we have seen for oxygen, oxygen is paramagnetic or diamagnetic? Oxygen is paramagnetic. Okay, so these are 1-mark questions. Okay, so when you draw the molecular and diagram for oxygen, finally you will get the molecule exists in the paramagnetic character. Then it can form hydrogen bond. It can form strong hydrogen bond. That's why water exists in the form of liquid. Okay, this also we have to discuss in our 11th standard. Okay, so here like fluorine and oxygen, fluorine and nitrogen, oxygen also forms strong hydrogen bond. Okay, the next here, it has 2 allotropic forms. 2 allotropic forms. One is O2 and another one is O3. Okay, O2 and O3. Allotropic, you know the meaning. So what are the 2 allotropic form of oxygen? O2 and O3. O2 now general oxygen we know, okay, O2. The O3 is ozone. Okay, O3 is what? Ozone. Where we can find this ozone? It is present in the upper layer of the atmosphere. Okay, so here how this O3 is formed. Okay, how this O3 is produced by ultraviolet rays, by the action of ultraviolet rays. Oxygen is converted into O3 form. How we can prepare this O3 in the lab? Laboratory preparation of O3. Okay, here we have to take the oxygen. We have to pass the electricity in this oxygen. Okay, the electrical discharge of oxygen leads to the formation of ozone. Okay, electrical discharge. Electrical discharge of oxygen. So how much electricity we have to pass there? About 2000 volt. About 20,000 volt electricity we have to pass, so that the O2 will decompose into atomic oxygen. This atomic oxygen combines with another O2 and produces O3. Can produces O3. Okay, so like that we can get the ozone in the lab. Okay, the next one here, this the O3 we can't get 100%. We cannot convert all the oxygen into O3 by this method. Only we will get 10%. Only 10% of oxygen is converted into O3 here. Okay, so the combination of O3 and O2 is called ozonized oxygen. The combination of O3 and O2 is called ozonized oxygen. Okay, so they can ask you 2 more questions. How will you prepare ozone in laboratory? Okay, you have to write. Then 1 more question. What is the color of this ozone? Ozone is pale blue color. Okay, pure ozone. Pure ozone is pale blue. It is a pale blue gas. Pale blue gas. The next one, the structure of ozone. Okay, let me draw the structure here. Structure of ozone. To draw the structure, I told you to write according to the Lewis dot structure. Okay, according to that the method we have to draw. Okay, so first O3, oxygen, atomic number 8. So 2, 6 valence electron. Totally 3 oxygens are there. So 6 into 3, 18. First we have to draw the skeleton. Okay, skeleton. Then we have to write the single bond representation. For single bond representation 2 plus 2, 4. 4 electrons we have to take from there. So 18 minus 4. The remaining 14 electrons are there. So now we have to distribute the 14 electrons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that we have to distribute the electrons. Next we have to check whether all the atoms are having octet rule. All are completing the octet rule. Okay. So when we check here, this oxygen 2, 4, 6, 8, it is completing. For this oxygen 2, 4, 6, 8, it is also completing the octet rule. But if you check this oxygen 2, 4, 6, only 6 electrons are there. The remaining 2 electrons it requires. So if we shift this electron from here to here, then you will get the structure oxygen, double bond O, single bond O. Okay, here now this side is electron rich, this oxygen is electron deficient. Okay, suppose if you are shifting the electron from here, that means when you are shifting the electron rich side, this is also. So when you are shifting from here, then this one will be shifted also can donate its 2 electron to compensate the outlet rule. Then otherwise this oxygen also can donate the electron. So based on that we can get 2 structures. Okay, so these 2 structures are correct for ozone. So now we have discussed about oxygen, how we can prepare the oxygen. In industrial preparation we are doing fractional distillation to get large amount of oxygen. In the lab we can prepare the oxygen by using hydrogen peroxide. Here the catalyst is manganese dioxide. Then using the thermal decomposition method we can prepare the oxygen using HGO, then barium oxide, then potassium chloride, potassium nitrate we can take, and we can prepare the oxygen. What are the properties of oxygen here? Properties: it is a gas, it is diatomic, it is paramagnetic in nature, it can form strong hydrogen bond like fluorine and nitrogen. There are 2 allotropic forms of oxygen are there, O2 and O3. O2 generally we know, okay, the oxygen which we are using for our survival. Then just we are talking about the O3 around here. O3, it is formed in the upper layer of atmosphere by the action of ultraviolet rays. In the lab also we can prepare this O3. How we can prepare this O3? By electrical discharge of oxygen. How much electricity we have to pass there? We have to pass about 20,000 volt of electricity, so that the oxygen will be converted into O3. Okay, here we are not getting 100% of O3. Just 10% alone is converted into O3. The remaining are oxygen only. So it is a mixture of O3 and O2. This mixture is called as ozonized oxygen. The ozone color, the pure ozone is pale blue gas. I hope you have all understood this one. The next we are going to talk about ozone chemical property. This is physical property. Just we are going to talk about the chemical properties of oxygen, ozone and oxygen. Here in chemical property, when we see just this oxygen easily reacts with all the metals and non-metals. Easily will react. Easily it reacts. Suppose this ozone when we take, okay, oxygen easily reacts with metal and non-metal, metals and non-metals. Maximum this oxygen reacts with the S block elements, alkali metals, alkali earth metals. Even at room temperature the reaction will take place. Suppose the metal or the element is very less reactive, okay, so in such condition it is quite difficult to react. But when we are making the particular metal or the particular element in the powder form, it will react. Okay, easily it will catch fire, it will start to react. Okay, if suppose then less reactive materials are in bulk amount, if it is in solid state or bulk amount, the reaction does not take place. Okay, but if it is a fast reactive, more reactive elements means easily it will react with oxygen even at room temperature. Okay, some places where the oxygen cannot react also, in that place the ozone will react. Okay, so chemically they will show little difference. Okay, where it cannot react, in such place also ozone will react. Okay, the powder form I said no, if it is very less reactive also, it will react when we are making the powder form I said no. That powder form only they are using for the pyrophoric work. Okay, that means for welding purpose, all this purpose they are using that powder. Okay, so less reactive metals. The next one, ozone. Here ozone is a powerful oxidizing agent. Okay, maximum what we know, the best oxidizing agent means we can say it is oxygen, the atomic oxygen. Easily it will be added to some other compound, it will make the compound to undergo oxidation. Okay, so we are saying oxygen is the best oxidizing agent. Next to oxygen we can say fluorine is the best oxidizing agent, because fluorine exists only in the form of F minus acid. Okay, it won't exist in the form of F plus and only F minus. That means easily it will gain the electron. Okay, it is gaining electron and going reduction process. That means it is making some other to undergo oxidation. So best oxidizing agent. When we are comparing this atomic oxygen and fluorine, this ozone is powerful oxidizing will react and make the compound undergo oxidation. Okay, now I am going to give you the one example for that. Ozone when reacts with potassium iodide, it will be converted into KOH plus O2 plus I2. When you notice here, potassium iodide, this iodine is in -1 oxidation state, but here the iodine is in 0 oxidation state. Okay, so if you see here -1 to 0, now what happened here? It loses the electron and is converted into I2. Okay, -1 to 0. So the oxidation number you can see, okay, it is increased. Okay, that means loss of electron oxidation. Who made this work to occur here? The ozone. So that's why we are telling this best oxidizing agent. Then powerful oxidizing agent is used to make many organic compounds undergo oxidation. The next one here, the decomposition, the oxidizing power is more in acidic solution. This oxidizing character of ozone is more in acidic solution. One more question. Then the decomposition nature sharply decrease in alkali solution. One more question, kindly mark it. O2 will decompose as O2 and O. O3 will decompose as O2 and O. Such decomposition will decrease. Okay, it shows sharp decrease in the decomposition in alkaline solution. The oxidizing character is more in acidic solution. One more question. Okay, then uses of this oxygen. What are the uses of this oxygen? The general use we know. All the living organisms cannot function without the oxygen, because the oxygen is the fuel for us. Okay, for all living organisms. So we can say it is an essential component for living organisms. Then the liquid oxygen is used as a fuel. Liquid oxygen is used as a fuel for rocket. Then powder oxygen is used for welding purpose. Welding purpose in the name of oxyacetylene. Okay, these are the uses. I hope you have understood the ozone property and oxygen property and uses of this oxygen. Okay, the next one I said sulfur. Okay, now we are going to see sulfur, how we can prepare the sulfur. And what are the physical and chemical properties of sulfur? Sulfur, it exists in two allotropic forms. Okay, two allotropic forms. One is crystalline form and another one is amorphous form. Crystalline and amorphous. In crystalline form, rhomic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur. Rhomic sulfur is also called as alpha sulfur. Monoclinic sulfur is called as beta sulfur. So, monoclinic sulfur, rhomic sulfur exist in crystalline form. Then plastic sulfur. Plastic sulfur is represented by this gamma. Plastic sulfur, milk sulfur, colloidal sulfur. All these exist in the form of amorphous. So crystalline form Okay, alpha and beta sulfurs are crystalline form, gamma sulfur is amorphous form. Alpha means rhombic sulfur, beta monoclinic sulfur, gamma plastic sulfur. Okay, so just you have to remember. Now we are going to see one by one. First we are going to talk about rhombic sulfur. Rhombic sulfur is thermodynamically stable at normal room temperature and normal pressure. Okay, so first rhombic sulfur, it is crystalline, then it is yellow color. It is yellow color, yellow crystal. It is composed of S8 molecule. We know sulfur is a polyatomic. Monoatomic means all the noble gases, we can say all the noble gases are monoatomic. Diatomic example, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen or chlorine. Okay, all these are diatomic. Okay, now sulfur is polyatomic. It can exist in the form of S4, S8, S6, S7, S3. Like that it can exist. More than 3 atoms can combine and it can exist. Okay, so we are telling sulfur is a polyatomic. See here in rhombic sulfur, the sulfur exists as S8. Okay, 8 sulfur atoms together, it will exist. Okay, S8. It is composed. Rhombic sulfur is composed only of S8 molecules. Okay. Next one is thermodynamically stable as said, but above 96 degrees Celsius, this rhombic sulfur is alpha. This rhombic sulfur is converted into monoclinic sulfur. When we cool the monoclinic sulfur, again we can get the rhombic sulfur. So above 96 degrees Celsius, the rhombic sulfur can be converted into monoclinic sulfur. Monoclinic sulfur. Then monoclinic sulfur can be converted into rhombic sulfur. Okay, the next one here we are going to talk about monoclinic sulfur. Monoclinic sulfur. Here monoclinic sulfur, it is composed of S8 and little amount of S6 also is present there. It exists in the form of long needle form. Long needle like prism. Okay. Long needle prism form. So we are also calling this monoclinic sulfur as prismatic sulfur. Prismatic sulfur. The next one in amorphous sulfur, plastic sulfur. Plastic sulfur, gamma sulfur. This plastic sulfur, when we are taking the molten sulfur, then we add in water, it will be converted into yellow rubbery form. Okay, yellow rubbery form. Okay, rubbery ribbon form we will get. It is soft, we can stretch it. So that's why we are calling this one as a plastic sulfur. On cooling, the plastic sulfur become very hard and it will be converted into rhombic sulfur. So when you cool this plastic sulfur, it will become hard and it will be converted into rhombic sulfur. Okay, the next one here, the sulfur, I said oxygen alone is gaseous state, the remaining are solid state I said, but the sulfur exists both in gas as well as in liquid form. Okay, so here when we heat around 140 degrees Celsius, this sulfur is converted into yellow color liquid and some gaseous sulfur also we can see there. Okay, so the yellow liquid, the pale yellow liquid of sulfur once again, the sulfur, it is the second element in the 16th group. It exists in two states, crystalline form and amorphous form. In crystalline form, alpha, beta are there. Alpha is nothing but rhombic sulfur, beta is monoclinic sulfur. Amorphous is gamma sulfur, milk sulfur. The gamma sulfur is nothing but plastic sulfur. Then it is milk sulfur and colloidal sulfur. These are also examples for amorphous form. Okay, rhombic sulfur, it is represented by the symbol alpha. It is yellow in color. It composes only acid. Above 96 degrees Celsius, it can be converted into monoclinic. And same way when you are cooling below 96 degrees Celsius, the beta can be converted into alpha. The next monoclinic sulfur, it contains acid and S6. It has the prism form, otherwise it has long needle shape. It looks like prism, so it is called as prismatic sulfur. And third one is plastic sulfur. It is represented by the symbol gamma. And how it is prepared means just we have to take the molten sulfur. When we are dissolving in water, it will be converted into yellow rubbery ribbon form. Okay, it is very soft and easily we can stretch. That's why we are calling this as a plastic sulfur. When we cool this plastic sulfur, it will become hard and it will be converted into rhombic sulfur. The sulfur can also exist in gaseous and liquid form also. Okay, when we heat around 140 degrees Celsius, we can get the mixture. In that mixture, 90% is S8, S7 and S6 and small amount of S2, S3, S4 is present. Okay, the structure for sulfur dioxide, just you have to use the structure to draw. When you draw, you will get as we got for ozone because same group, no. So just I will give only one. Just you can work out by yourself. Okay, that is the structure for SO2. Here the sulfur is in sp2 hybridization. This one mark question. Then use this SO2 is used for bleaching purpose. And some chemical properties of the sulfur dioxide also is there. Physical property of sulfur dioxide, chemical property are there. Next class we will see the sulfur dioxide, how we can prepare, what are the physical property, chemical property, uses, all those things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.